Anaheim Ducks development camp finished up last week. 5 full days, including on July 4th. I was there for every day, like 4 hours a day, live streaming it all. So I'm going to give my quick thoughts on every player that attended. I'm going to try to keep it as short as possible because otherwise this video would be very long, and I have a feeling it's already going to be. Keep in mind, these kids may be a little out of shape from taking time off after a full season, jet lag from travel, and in some drills, the coaches told them not to go full speed. So no reason to overreact to anything they do. But it gives us a good baseline of them going forward. Remember how worried everyone was about Leo after development camp last year? Yeah, he looks just fine. In terms of comparing camp as a whole to last year, there was a much more concerted effort on skating. Every day they would focus on basic technique for like an hour, then do some shooting drills, followed by some battle drills. The scrimmage was the last day, 3-on-3 format with a horn going off for line changes. Not the most fun for fans, but I made sure everyone got a good look on the ice. By far one of the coolest parts for me was seeing Getzlaf back on the ice, taking shots, and even coaching the losing team in the scrimmage for Scott Niedermayer. Also, Paul Kariya made an appearance too, so a star-studded camp even without talking about the prospects. We're just going to do this in alphabetical order, like the Ducks did on the camp roster, starting with our 4th-round pick this year, Alexandre Blais. Blais was the smallest guy at camp, and it showed, but dang, is he fast. Have to give him major props though. It felt like he was always going up against the biggest guy. He went up against Solberg 3 straight times and got shoved around the first 2 times, but on the final one, he got the last laugh. He reversed hit him and finished top right corner to win for Team Orange. Next, we got our 6th rounder this year, Austin Burnevik, who scored 2 goals in the scrimmage and even tried this move in the shootout, which did work for him in a game. The knock on his game is his skating, and you can see why. Kind of flapping his arms like a duck. Michael Cowell was our 5th rounder in 2022. I like what I saw from him in the scrimmage. He put up 2 goals, very calm, big body, and even has some nice hands. He could play for the goals next season, but I would imagine he stays at Harvard. Tomas Suchanek, the poor guy who was relegated to number 90 all week because I couldn't say his name, and I still can't. He was a camp invite, and I'm sorry to say I made a joke on the stream that I don't think I need to learn his name. Very fast, but I don't think I saw him win one battle. Cutter Gauthier, without a doubt the best player at the camp, and I believe he'll be the only one to make the Ducks. He didn't have to come to this camp, but he did. He wanted to be a leader for the younger guys. He was the first one to go in drills most of the time. He even took the initiative and asked Getzlaf for pointers on face-offs. I don't know how hard he was trying in the scrimmage. Kinda looked like he was more trying to play with his teammates and make sure they got points, but he had chances to add a few goals, but just missed. Of course, his shootout goal 5-hole was nasty. His shot is NHL ready. I highly recommend you go watch the end of this stream and watch him snipe like crazy. I mean, Crow was literally standing there up on the balcony watching him with a smirk on his face. And I was too. Kukkonen, a 6th rounder in 2021. I had a couple people come up to me saying they were really impressed with him. I remember being unimpressed with him last dev camp, but it seems transferring schools this past year has done wonders for him. He looked like Team Getzlaf's best player all scrimmage and added a goal too. Joey Larson was a camp invite from Michigan State and added 2 goals and a shootout goal in the scrimmage. He skates well, seemed kinda to avoid contact. He is 23 though, so seems a bit old for dev camp. Maybe he gets an AHL contract? Maxim Masse, our 3rd-round pick this year. Honestly, his shot already looks NHL ready. I'd say just on a cutter, but it was looking really accurate and smooth. Good hands, and uses his body well, thanks to great footwork. Nico Myatovic, our 2nd-rounder last year, who everyone says was a stretch where he was picked. He was fine. Off the top of my head, I can't really remember him being that impressive one-on-one. He was a part of the flock party for some reason, so maybe the Ducks are liking what they are seeing from him. Hopefully he can have a great season with the goals. Jan Mysak, who we traded with the Habs this past season to get, added 2 goals in the scrimmage. One of them was a very nice give-and-go with Masse. He looks very defensively sound. The final year of his contract, let's see what he can do with a full year with the goals. Lucas Pettersson was our 2nd-rounder this year. He had moments of flashing some skill and skating ability, but he actually impressed me with his defensive ability, which wasn't in most scouting reports. He also looks bigger than listed too. Coulson Pitre, our 3rd-rounder in 2023. It felt like he was the only guy who could match with cutter and battle drills. That's the place he really thrived in all week. He added the first goal of the scrimmage. Ethan Procyszyn, our 3rd-rounder this year. Physical and puck-hungry. He looks so strong that you notice it in every drill, pushing everyone aside. Skating-wise, he has some work to do though. Beckett Sennecke, our shocked 3rd overall pick, The more and more I see and hear from him, the more I like him. You have to keep in mind that he just got cleared to skate again after having a concussion. He didn't skate at the combine. The first day in the skating tests, I was a little unimpressed, but on day 2, I was really surprised by his backward skating. It's really good. Defensively, he definitely needs some work, but he listens. They were doing battle drills, and he got beat badly twice, but on the third one, he listened to his coaches and won. He also needs to bulk up. He was knocked off the puck easily, but he had a major growth spurt, so that will come. If anyone was concerned by Leo's performance last year in the scrimmage, little Bucky made sure no one would be concerned. He showed out, adding 2 goals and a few assists. You can see why the Ducks took him. He has all the tools to be an elite first-line player. Can't wait to see what he does this year. Yegor Sidorov, our 3rd overall pick in 2023. The man who was the star of the show last dev camp and added a nice, and I mean disgusting, release bar-down goal in the scrimmage. He wasn't as flashy as last year. You could tell there was more effort to get his teammates involved. He definitely put on some muscle. He looks night and day bigger since last development camp. Can't wait for him in San Diego this year. Scoldin, Carey Terrance, the guy who always has a smile on his face, added 2 goals in the scrimmage. You could definitely tell this was his second camp. Seemed to play well with and against anyone he matched with. He kind of gives me Andrew Cogliano vibes, and being that Cogs was one of my favorite players, it makes me pretty excited. Jaxsen Wiebe added a nice little backhand goal in the scrimmage. To be honest, I don't remember him that much, and that's not really a bad thing. He plays a heavy and high-energy game that you can't really show at camp, but he went undrafted and earned himself a 3-year contract last offseason. Last season was his rookie season, and he split time between the goals and the Toulouse Oilers and the ECHL. Look for him to be a mainstay with the goals this year. Next, we move on to the defensemen. In the streams, we definitely focus more on the forwards, so not too many notes on the defensemen, other than one in particular for good reason, but you'll have to wait and see who that is. Brandon Holt and Liam Lesakowski were both camp invites that I don't remember too much about. Liam is huge though. Both teammates from Maine, so cool experience for them. Vojtech Port was our 6th rounder last year. I like what I saw from Port. Crafty, offensive defenseman. He even showed off his hands in the shootout. Tarin Smith was our third rounder this year. I know I said his name a lot on stream. He pulled off an in-between-the-legs goal as a defenseman. I feel his skating is rough around the edges, but he looks to be a steal maybe. Konnor Smith was our 4th rounder last year. If there was an award for most improved, he would get it. His skating looks night and day better. Now, it's still not great, as he's 6'6", biggest guy at the camp, but definite improvement. I thought he was going to go for the slapper again in the shootout, but he showed off a little hands even though he didn't score. Now we get to the man that was the most fun to watch and traded up to 23rd this year to get him. Stian Solberg. Guy was a beast, knocking everyone over with a smile on his face. Now in the drills, he took a lot of interference penalties, so he's going to have to clean that up and learn when to do certain things. But he played against grown men at Worlds, and I think if someone else were to make the Ducks out of camp, he could have a shot. His body just seems physically mature already, but I would imagine they wait until next year to bring him in. Skating obviously needs improvement, but great acceleration. He couldn't really show off in the scrimmage because of the 3v3 format, but he did add a goal. He also almost scored this goal in the drills. Darels Uljanskis, our last pick this year, looks solid for someone picked in the 7th round, heavy shot and aggressive. Lastly, but certainly not least, the guy with the best name and number 69, Josh Zinger. He looked like the smallest guy along with Blais, but it didn't slow him down. He added a goal in the scrimmage, and I was very impressed with his skating and hands. Now, I may be biased, but I hope he gets a contract. Now onto the goalies. We started camp with 5 and ended with 3. The first one being my birthday buddy, Gage Alexander, was traded the day after his birthday on July 3rd for Robbie Fabry. The Ducks have a stacked goalie pipeline. With him not being consistent for years, it made sense to get rid of him. I will say, this was the most impressed I had been with him, so best of luck in Detroit. I'm not going to try to pronounce his first name again. We're just going to call him Slava Buteyets. And if you can't tell, he's Russian. He was our 6th rounder in 2022. He made a couple sprawling saves in the drills and scrimmages. I didn't realize how big he actually is. He'll be taking Gage's spot in the ECHL. Calle Clang, acquired in the Rickard Rakell trade, very fundamentally sound, was stopping a lot of great chances on a wide-open scrimmage. His positioning was great. He didn't allow any soft goals while the other goalies did. Probably his last year with the goals, though, and most likely will look for a new home. Damian Clara, the Italian stallion, was our 2nd-round pick last year. He let in a lot of soft ones in the scrimmage, I felt, but again, it was 3-on-3. His fundamentals didn't seem as strong as the others, but the upside is amazing. Just might take a bit. He did make a scorpion save like he did last year, so 2 for 2. Last, Tomas Suchanek, the best goalie at camp in my opinion, and the #1 starter for the goals. I am curious why he didn't partake in the last 2 days, including the scrimmage, so hopefully he is okay. So, needless to say, the Ducks prospect pool is insane, and this isn't even all of them. There is a reason the Ducks are ranked so high by so many reporters, and you could see it even if they weren't going all out at camp. Who are you most excited for? Let me know in the comments down below. Also, I guess I never really talked about my experience at the Spear for the draft, so it's pretty cool to see these kids start from the start. The Spear was insane for the first hour. All the transitions, effects, but then after a while, it was the same thing for 4 hours. And it wasn't even over. So thank you Verbeek for making that trade so we moved up and not have to wait to the end. Also, word to the wise, it's pretty cold in there, but I highly recommend if you have a chance to go check it out because they were doing things I don't even know how they did. Like we're in a Spear, but it looks like a box and it's just crazy. And actually the draft was so good, I think I've seen reports that they actually might not do away with the in-person draft. Maybe just change it up and only the players go, not the GMs and staff and stuff. So yeah, it was cool. I don't really know where to put this, so it's at the end. So thank you for watching and go Ducks!
Yes! F them queens!